Monica, did the videos go through?
Not yet. I'm still working on it. So far, I just have the one, and it looked like it downloaded onto my phone, but then I don't know. It won't transfer over to. It won't upload to the Google Drive.
I'll try it again. I'll be back here at the house. I wasn't at home. She can't find it? You can't? Grandmother, mother, you turn the TV down a little bit? Can you hear me okay, Maya?
Yep.
Okay, we may have a special guest join us, Maxwell. So, Maxwell, you want to say hi? I see Jim just joined us. Hey, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, Brandon, how's it going?
Pretty good. How's the weather down there in sunny Florida?
Hey, I tell you, we're having it's freezing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, went down to 72.
Oh, wow, wow. Well, that beat our 50-degree weather, that's for sure. But
Well, I heard it was nice up there.
yeah, the sun's shining. It's really beautiful out. But you know, it's still cold. You know, that's how you get sick, when you take your coat off and start walking around needy willy, and next thing you know, you got a runny nose.
How's it out east, Monica?
Not too bad. It was high 40s today and sunny.
Oh,
Yeah, that's good. Oh, high 40s, you say, Monica?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we were about the same there.
Yep.
We were about the same. Okay, well that's not too bad. I know Dorothea said she was going to be a little late today. Obviously, I have Maxwell, but I told her I would catch up with her later tonight after I drop Maxwell off at 7. Jim and I have a recap at 8, but I did want to go over the, just kind of where we are, from the minutes that Monica sent over. And then just kind of go into what we have coming up for the rest of the week. So
okay.
Taylor and Michaela, we have been speaking with. Michaela, Monica, and I had a call with her today. She's all on board, completing her application, and she's going to do an internship with us and help us with some of these cold calls and really bringing things to attention for all the partners, just like what's happening with Teens Grow Green. So hopefully we can get her more engaged and just see where she can most be beneficial for the org. Monica did put together that list of plumbers. I have another list as well. I'll share with you all with the labs that are between here in Illinois. The labs that are between Milwaukee and Illinois to do the testing. As I mentioned in the last call a couple of weeks ago, we did get those filters changed at each location, and have taken samples at the Dominican Center, at the Stowe's house, as well as Bayview. So hopefully we can get those sent off this week and find an appropriate lab to
Okay.
test them on.
How many samples did you take?
3 at each location.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 at each location.
Kind of before and after the water pod?
Yeah, so we say one before the water pod. The Stowe's house is a little different, but at the Dominican Center, at the restaurant, we take it before the pod, right after the pod, and then from a tap that's used more than others.
Okay.
At the stoves, obviously they have a larger home, so we still did the before the pod, after pod, but we also want to do their shower, so they have an additional sample outside of the other locations. It was, it's not to, well, I guess because we're going through the minutes, we can talk about the updates too. The stoves, what's interesting is that they have had their entire house within the last 15, 20 years. The redistribution of water, all new copper pipes in their home, so there's no build up or residual in those properties. Whereas the Dominican Center and others, there is some residual. We so the Dominican Center, the Archdiocese did approve us to do the redistribution of water. I have signed a deal and committed to Diamond Plumbers and your service company for doing installation and for doing the redistribution of water. So they said that they'll be willing to be our partners. I would almost be interested in becoming an apprentice, but I don't know how to, really organize my time in order to do so. But it very much. I mean, it's engineering. What these guys are doing. It's very, very. I really have enjoyed the last couple weeks working with these two plumbers, their organizations.
Where are they located?
They're located in the city of Milwaukee,
Okay.
and master plumbers, so they can pull permits. So I was able to go along with them on some projects to change a couple of hot water heaters with them. And my hope is that they can be one of those organizations or two of those organizations that can onboard young people who are interested in going that track.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, I'm really encouraged. The master plumber that I've been working with, Julian Coleman. I may have mentioned him to you, but he's really, really thrilled to work with us. And like I said, the more I'm around him, the more I enjoy. One of the reason I brought up the redistribution of water again is one of the properties that we went and changed hot water heaters. They cut the galvanized pipes, and to actually see the, I guess you call it. It's not a calcium buildup, but it's a buildup of like rust, and I mean it's it's just like all the photos, but to see it in your hand and to see the drops of water that come right out of that hot water heater drip onto the floor and it's brown. It's really, really scary. But that's how, and it was funny. Julian said, that's the water we're drinking. That's why we're putting your systems in here. That's why we're, doing the cleaning of water. and yeah, it was just, it's eye opening. I think, and I kind of believe that scare is what's going to get more people interested in actually seeing it, in their hands and with their own eyes. So yeah, those things are definitely two updates that I wanted to have. Excuse me, in regards to the filters and actually testing with labs. Once we have a laboratory that we can work with, I'll definitely share and go through the options. We have about 25 on the list. Like I said, between here and in Illinois. So the closer the better. Ideally, my hope is that we can use the universities again, but I think that for that larger project, but I think for the initial, you're right, Jim, to get that data, it's accurate, it's up to date, and then actually finding someone to review that information and actually make it. Put it in layman's terms, so it's just not like a periodic table with X parts per million or billion. Yeah, you want to say? My son is here with me, so he wanted to say hi. He's whispering in my ear. You want to say hi?
No, I wonder.
Oh, you didn't want to say hi?
Yeah, and put on my jacket.
Okay, where are you going? You want to walk with Grandma?
Yeah.
Pardon me for one moment. Got it?
Brandon, introduce me.
Forgive me. Maxwell, this is Mr. Shui. Can you say Mr. Shui?
I can't see.
You can say Sway.
Or Schwei.
Oh, Schwei. Oh, Schwei.
Why?
You say
Why
Schwei?
this hap? Say why this happened to me?
Yeah. Oh, you got it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Can you say Monica? Say hi, Monica.
Hi, Monica.
Hi.
Yeah. So he's getting big. So he and grandmother, I think they're gonna go for a walk. We got her a gift certificate. So I think that's where they're headed. That's where you guys headed.
Huh?
You guys going to the store?
No. No, we're not.
Okay. Okay. All right. So give me
Okay.
one
See
more.
you later.
All right. So those look really good for as far as the water is concerned. Now, the next piece we wanted to go over was the Teens Grow Greens. So we sent over the one pager, sent it over to the guys. It seems like they're very interested. I don't know if you saw the most recent message from Victory Gardens, Jim.
Yes, I read that this afternoon.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, it seems to be some interest there, or at least definitely helping us organize the
Mhm.
itself. So we can follow up, do some have some additional conversations as far as
Mhm.
and how to get that together. I sent you that email regarding because I know you're saying we can reduce the cost, but in respects to putting together the budget, I mean it as far as managing the young people or whomever is putting it together, and like I said, the transportation, delivery costs, taking
Mhm.
that into consideration, perhaps it may be closer to that number. What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with you. In fact, uh, what I did do, and I'm just showing it here. That's my writing, believe it or not.
Okay.
But I agree with you. I went through looking at let's just say the low cost dome.
Mhm.
And when you add material, labor, plants, soil, uh, and then the labor to put in the plants in the dome, things as such, I come up with basically what you did. I came up with rounding it off at $700.
Okay. Okay.
So you had 500 and 200, and we could go back and say, well, if you the problem with just selling them the components, at least it's my thought right now, uh, unless we had some type of an instructional video to do it,
Mhm.
it just doesn't make sense when you get 24 pieces of PVC pipe and and a and a cover.
Mhm.
But that's but we can talk more about that. But that's where I'm hoping. You mentioned these young folk that could possibly be working through learn, earn, and grow.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, this would be a perfect opportunity for them to put them in during the summer months, and
Right.
uh, we can see how that goes. So, but in reference to the cost, yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
If you could send me over those approximate numbers that you have too, Jim, as far as what do you spend on soil, what is the cost of the compost, because I think those numbers for sure help when
mm-hmm.
putting together, don't put your foot in there, Maxwell, forgive me, when putting together a no fundraising campaign where people can just itemize, okay, I'll pay for the soil, or like the greenhouse that Team Grow Greens manages. They do a discount on the compost for the Blitz for Victory Gardens. So they give them a discount on the
Who
compost.
provides the compost?
It's I don't recall the name of that. It's the greenhouse that Teens Grow Greens manages on Green Bay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So they provide the compost for Victory Gardens at a discounted price for those who buy the
Mm-hmm.
who buy the raised garden. So I'm thinking it'll be the same. I think they also had a sponsorship in there with Lowe's, but the more specific we are on those numbers, that can definitely help us at least go out and pitch for, if not dollars, then the actual, tangible materials to
Okay.
So, obviously, I know labor, the seeds. I just use the plants. I just use the cost that we had, over the summer. Obviously, we bought a lot more, but yeah, you can help me out with those numbers. I greatly appreciate it. But what I'll do is,
Okay, I'll do that. Just let me ask you a question,
yeah,
because it would help put. Let's just say we got people. We got 3 people putting up a dome in 3 hours.
okay.
What type of supervision do you envision would be necessary to take these 3 teens, and I'm assuming they would be teens, or to put this up?
I believe we have to have an adult there with me.
Right, right. No, I agree with you. I'm just saying, so you would have an adult there for 3 hours, right?
Mhm.
And typically, without, getting down to the nearest penny, give me what's a rough number for an adult supervisor for the teens? And I'm assuming the teens would be getting paid at roughly, well, that's the other number I was looking
Yeah.
for.
So with the cost for the teams, we did $8.50 and $9 an hour, especially if they're like
Okay.
juniors or seniors in high school. With the earn and learn, naturally we that cost isn't that cost is covered through the federal grant. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Some organizations, and we have done this in the past. If they're really exceptional, we had a couple young people that worked for us that were just dynamite. And although they had the earn and learn dollars, we paid a difference of, maybe $1, $1.75, so they can get a
Okay.
$2,000.
But for just, I'll just use $9 an hour for that. And
And
then typically, somebody to supervise them, what would that be roughly?
they're usually $10 to $15 an hour. Once a college student is working with us for 2 years, they sign 2 contracts with us. They usually get a raise of $12, $15 an hour. That's the typical
Okay.
rate that we.
Well, should I just plug in on the high side, $15 an hour?
I would do $15 an hour, and then and we would assume that they would do 2 pots or two gardens a day. If they're working
Mhm.
3 days a
Yeah,
week for these groups, doing 2 a day.
yeah. Because I'm kind of looking at doing this, and and tell me if this makes sense. Because this groups of either three, a group of 3 makes a lot of sense putting up a dome,
Mm-hmm.
because you should, if you can't do it in 3 hours, we got a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and by the same token, that's driving to wherever the site may be, and then having some supervisory assistance during that period of time, and then making the parts. Do you feel comfortable with, let's just say, having these young adults, teens, using a power drill?
Mm-hmm. I do. I do feel confident that they can do so and get better as it goes along. I would think that in the initial, depending on how much money we were able to secure, how many units we were able to purchase. In the beginning, perhaps having the college students, the young adults, that youth development mentor, prepping some of these
Mm-hmm.
units ahead of time. And then, that can be, part of that, 6 to 8 hour day with that young person, whether if they're not doing the installation, they're prepping, and we can rotate the young people. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and so you might want to even keep that group together or change it in and out. But so let's just say you'd have 3 teens to 1 supervisor, or is that two, or is that ratio, should that be a different ratio? That's what I'm groping at.
no, 1 to 3 is great. 1 to 3 is great. Um, I don't think it needs to be more than that. I mean, you guys had it was yourself, and so you guys were like two to no, you're more than that. It was five of you guys that put together the dome, but I think three young people and an adult is more than enough to get it.
Yeah, and if the supervisor, he's not going to just sit there and watch. I'm sure he's going to help also, and that's going to speed up the process. So, I,
one of
go ahead.
One of the thoughts that came to mind was the transportation itself. So for the last 3 weeks now, as you guys know, I've been going through this audit with my insurance and really changing our insurance up based upon what our services are currently, because we're not playing sports, we're not in schools like we were in the past. And one of the things that they asked me if I wanted covered was insurance for driving kids, and that's not something that I thought we wanted to invest in this year, because it can be quite costly when you have a number of drivers. So I think the transportation piece. I know Teens Grow Greens has their own transportation, if I'm not mistaken, and as well as Groundworks Milwaukee. But I think that as we organize, I want to keep that in mind, because that is a cost that needs to be accounted for.
Okay, but let's just say somebody wants a dome 2 miles away from where we're fabricating this stuff.
Okay.
How are you going to get the 8? There's going to be 8 pieces of PVC pipe. The longest ones are going to be 8 feet long.
Okay.
So I mean that's and then there's some smaller pieces. How do we get, let's just say, 4 people, 3 teens, and the supervisor to the work site?
Well, the biggest thing is obviously us being organized. For one, the kids can take the bus to the location where we're going to be doing the installation, so they can meet us there and then take the bus home. When we do programming in the summer, they take the bus to the county parks. Now, naturally, this is different because they're we're looking at doing installations throughout Metro Milwaukee, if you will. So that'll be a lot of different locations. But I think that the young people have given enough advance notice and actual agenda. This is where you're going today. They shouldn't have a problem getting there.
Okay. Any thought where we could fabricate these parts, doing the cutting and drilling? It's
with the weather permitting, obviously we have a lot of everything. I want to do most things outdoors. I'm sure you noticed that we have a gym across the street, which Pep Nation utilized for the last 6-7 years. But with COVID, the Lutheran Church has not, well, they're like Archdiocese, has not allowed any large gatherings or any gatherings at all. So if we can do this outside, we can do it on 18th. We can also do it at the Dominican Center. They have where the old St. Leo's used to stand, that large area there outdoors. We've done training there before in that large lot. So that's another place where we can fabricate. I'm sure Sister Patricia wouldn't have a problem with me storing the extra materials in one of the empty boxes. That's a good point though. So 18th and Dominican Center. Okay, so like I said, I'll do the follow up there. I'll look for those numbers and from you, Jim, we can add to the budget, and then we'll continue the correspondence with Teens Grow Greens. I believe Sylvia also sent out a message talking about getting together again sometime soon, which would be great. In association to that, Andrew also sent out another grant. Have any of you had a chance to review that yet?
I looked at it, and I think it's what's called an active streets grant, and I think it would be perfect for a place called 18th and Locust. Really?
For sure.
Really?
Okay.
I would say, okay, we're going to put in 2 or 3 domes.
Okay.
Let's do, we got one built already. We'll put in a low cost one next to it.
Yep.
We can put in a very simple water catchment system. It's a matter of buying a tarp and 4 posts, and which we also could use for a place to work under.
Okay. Oh yes, yes.
But my thought is, when it's sagging down, it's collecting water. When we put a post in the middle and prop it up, it's a working area.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think.
I mean, we're not talking a lot of money whatsoever for something like that.
Right. No, I mean, that is a great idea. Like I said, I would love to have 3 there, and we have one, and then, like you said, we have one, we have another because we purchased 2 initially, and then I think that'd be really cool. To
Okay.
have a workstation. Can we also do or do you think it's needed to do one of those water off of the gutters off of 18th?
We can do it. We can do that, or we can use this tarp.
Yeah,
that's where I was thinking of collecting the water, and I've got a rain barrel.
A rain barrel.
You can get a 40-gallon rain barrel. It could. What I'm trying to achieve here is have that lot be self-sufficient to the point where we got to run in water, we got to run in electricity, we got to let's just here it is.
Yes, I love it. Okay.
And I've done calculations with let's just say 80-gallon tank. That's more than enough water to handle all those plants in 2 domes. So, the interesting thing is, I got my dome from We Energies.
Sure.
They were handing them out selling them for a very low price.
You're talking about the rain barrels you got from We Energies, or where'd you get from?
Yeah, the rain barrels.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I'm sure they'd be more than happy to donate a couple to a wonderful organization called Pep Nation.
Oh, that's really sweet. We'll definitely come with our own arms wide open. That'll be. Okay, yeah. I mean, that sounds really good. So just kind of hashing out those details, with the cost and the tarp and all that jazz. I think that'd be really cool.
Okay. Now you applied for that first grant, right?
Yeah.
Did you look at this second one about the what's it's called, the Active Street Grant?
All I did, I went to the site. I looked at just that cover photo that they have there. I have not dove into it. I'm sure it's not going to be that much in detail. I mean, well, I'm sure it's not going to be a tough grant to write.
No.
So I'll probably I'll take that on as a responsibility and write it this week.
I think if we could, and it looks like they're going to give multiple grants out. Plus, it's ongoing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I see that. It says so. Street was okay. March. So actually, I need to verify the street this week to make sure that we can be that we are eligible for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, so the proposal is due next week on the 12th. Going to notify April 1st. Kickoff. How, do you recall how much the grant was for?
5,000, I thought.
Okay. Yeah, it is 5,000. I will do it. I have done a grant with DPW in the past. They say it took like 3 years to actually get some funding, and we got 20% of the actual fund dollars.
Well, they're talking about telling you on April 1st if you got it.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about the first time. The first time I did it a couple of years ago, but I'm still going to apply. I'm still going to apply. I think it's worth it. But that was just my experience with that in the past.
If we could get those 2, I mean, that $10,000 can go a long way on seeding this project.
That's right. That's right. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think so. I think that'll at least get us a jump start to getting it going. So I don't recall when we're supposed to hear back from I don't the other the what was the name of it? Um, the first grant. I think that grant was open. The spring planting, it was open until March 14th, but I don't recall what the April 22nd. April 22nd is when we'll receive the request for grants. Winners will receive the grant agreement and check by April 30th, 2021. So that's a quick turnaround. Less than 30 days after um, the grant is due. So yeah, both of those will be really good. We can secure them. Would you look at this as, I say this as far as the adopting and putting the numbers together and people just sponsoring certain pieces of it. Would we look at this as all the organizations raising money for it? Because I believe I told her I was going to forward this grant over to her, but I haven't yet, so I'll do that. But
is this the Sylvia you're referring to?
Yes.
Yeah. They could apply for it. I mean, they could apply for the active street one just because of their greenhouse over on Green Bay Avenue. You know, from the just like 18th and Locust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're exactly right. So I'll add those to the follow-ups if they haven't yet. I believe on our last call I said I was going to send those over, but I'll get those sent out. And the more we can have, I know this for a fact. The more organizations are saying, okay, hey, we're all applying for these dollars specifically for this goal. Then it can be, $10,000 from 4 different organizations. And
Yeah.
40 grants.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so I'll send that off now to them. I think that's, let me look at these notes here. I think, at this time, I think that's all we really have for that piece.
Okay.
But I did want to bring up one point that I forgot to mention. We talked about it in the last meeting with Teams Go Greens. I have 4 corner stores, that are within the area, but starting to. She was talking about mapping, which I think is good. But starting to identify these stores that are within the area that can actually start, purchasing our produce, being in partnership with us.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really important. So we'll see about getting a spreadsheet with that. Maybe I can get that over to Dorothea. All right. Let's see here.
You were conducting a couple of interviews I saw.
Yep. So that's with Taylor and Michaela. Michaela's with Wisconsin Lutheran, where Monica went. She's actually going through the same program. If it's not exactly the same, correct me if I'm wrong, Monica. But internship that Monica went through a couple of years ago. So she's very interested in getting on board. She asked today if it'll be spring or summer. Ideally, we can get her in spring. It'd be great. But she's also a cross country athlete at Wisconsin Lutheran. So.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so now we're just kind of going through the process, and it's even ironic before she got into high school, she was a part of our tournaments. She played for Wauwatosa for the youth rugby. So it's really putting some age.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that's how it goes. It seems like more times than not, I'm hearing from participants, and now they're in college. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but she has a really good head on her shoulders. She's a freshman, but she already said she's going to graduate in 3 years and, go on and get her master's and her doctorate. So She seems very good. And Taylor is through the Community Resource Navigators program with UWM. We typically get 2 to 3 of those students that apply for our program each year, which is nice. It's a supplemental program. We pay part of their costs in UWM through a grant. It's actually it's not what do you call it? You know, when you're in college and you get like work dollars. You know what I'm talking about?
Like federal work study.
Work study, exactly. So through federal work study, which is kind of like earn and learn, now they're outsourcing these young people instead of just having them work, you know, in the cafeteria or work, you know, admissions and things like that. Now they're able to do work study outside of campus at UWM and maybe all the UW campuses. So we've been able to take advantage. So hopefully we get some more to go along with Taylor. We talked about the Dominican Center water distribution. Jim, I know we were supposed to set up a meeting with Sister Patricia.
Great.
Let me send out another.
Well, you did send out one email talking about doing it, but we haven't done it yet.
Okay. Let's do.
Here he comes. Andrew.
Yeah, he's probably calling from his phone, so he'll chime in there for a second. Let's see.
He's muted. Unmute yourself.
Oh yeah, he is still muted. That's okay. Well, as soon as you're ready to come in, Andrew, we're just talking about the grants and the Blitz program. So,
I'm here. I was unmuted for a second there. I just had to swipe over to the dialogue.
No
problem.
You're fine. So we're just touching base on the cost, and I don't know if you've seen the one pager or not, Andrew, but I can forward that over to you. Thank you for sharing that grant. We'll share with the rest of the committee as well for the Teens Grow Greens that collaborative and see, you know, ideally, you know, what Jim said. He said, hey, we give both of these grants that'll be $10,000 to jumpstart the program. You know, all these organizations are willing to come alongside of us and work on this project, and we'll all get the, you know, $10,000 you know, in association with both grants. You know, $40,000. We're nearly halfway there to the, you know, the total cost of the proposed project, which would be sweet. If there are, you know, any other grants that you all come across, you know, again, feel free to share. But thank you so much for getting.
Well, yeah, and did you get a chance to look at the website, the PowerPoint, or the request for proposal for that active streets?
So we just kind of ran through it briefly there. Jim said he did look into it in more detail, but you know, we just kind of looked over just recited some of the deadlines. You know, with the, you know, there was an information session, but with March 5th being the deadline for eligibility for the verified locations.
Right.
I don't. So does that mean, again, I haven't read this in full detail, does that mean we actually, our street has to be eligible for it? We have to like nominate the street or something?
I believe you can suggest the street. So that's you know, you would know better than I whether or not that particular street gets all kinds of traffic, because I think they're looking for, you know, lower traffic areas. Are there any bike trails nearby or anything?
Unfortunately not. You know, the closest bike trail for us would be Center Street, because when we do the bike tour every year, so Center Street and Sherman, you know, North Avenue is going to be a little further south. Yeah, those would be the. Oh, you know what? We actually have I believe there may be a bike lane between Center and Capitol on 20th Street.
Okay.
which is within reason to the area. But as far as the traffic, and at least if that's something that they're concerned about, they want a low traffic area. Um, the only thing that I could kind of support us is that we have Heatherton Lutheran Church, and they are concerned about traffic as well, and they installed additional lights in the area to slow traffic down. But if that's a determining factor, that that may be a little tough, but we can definitely see.
But yeah, certainly if there's another organization concerned about traffic, March 5th is coming up here. I would say too, don't let the location or the street stop us from, we can build domes anywhere. So
Exactly.
it'd be nice to have it at a central location, but yeah, we can do it anywhere.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the streets that they have kind of recommended on here. But I can, like you said, I will, still put the application in, and hopefully where we get it, in respect to where we are, I'm seeing like 27th and Cherry, 24th and Cherry, 14th and Juneau, so 18th is in between, in between there. And another thing, Jim, this reminds me of, because it says here in the PowerPoint, they want to create a space for walking and biking, and other activities, encourage that. So this could be aligned with, Jim sent me something, I don't think, was it Spain, Jim, where they kind of like, change
Oh yeah, yeah.
infrastructure of the street. So there is more walking and more engagement with the local vendors and stuff like that. Could you elaborate a little more on that, Jim? We could use that.
Well, the Spanish name escapes me right now, but basically what they were doing is taking 6 blocks and cordoning them off and having, internal to there was only emergency vehicles that would go in as needed, but for all practical purposes, it was walkways, gardens, things as such. And if you really think about it, you could take 6 blocks and make an awful lot of gardens in 6 blocks. That was, for that particular community. And I think, we've talked about the sustainable community. I really think it could be something as such. And I know you pointed out that chunk of land up on, where is that? Over on where the old A.L. Smith building used to be.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Capital.
But it would make sense to, as we go a little further down the road, is to structure something like this, because it all starts to fall together.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that Andrew hopped on. What I'll do is I'll share that with the rest of the group, what you shared with me, Jim, and
okay.
I may add that to the application itself, because I mean it literally says on there that's what they're looking for, partnerships in Milwaukee County, and they want them to create these type of spaces, so and begin right away.
And one thing I would note too, I'm glad that Jim had just mentioned like emergency vehicles. The domes are light enough to move. So when it comes to having blocks accessible to police and emergency vehicles, because I kind of imagine the domes like right in the middle of the intersection. I don't know exactly how they want to cordon things off. They basically want to replace barricades because they're a bit unsightly. Some of the photos in the PowerPoint, they had things kind of like wavy, but they were light and light enough to move. I'm assuming that's an important part of the whole program, being able to have accessibility for those vehicles. So that's something to highlight as well, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point. I think that, I think that is the that's exactly. I mean, it really is exactly the project that they have there, that he shared. And you're right, they had some type of wavy thing, and it's basically lasting all from the summer, from spring all the way until the end of the year, basically November.
Yep.
so these communities can change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll be good. And instead of putting them in the ground, we'll actually use the buckets. That's what I'm assuming here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, depending on how we build them out, um, you know, there may be we can maybe make them water stations. You know, putting water pods in them and hooking them up with a hose to a local water source or a fire hydrant or something.
No, that sounds great. Um, okay, well let's. I'll get it done. You know, this week because it's due on Friday. It's crunch time, so.
Well, I think just yeah, and I'll read it up on it a little bit more. The application itself is not due until the 12th.
The 12th. That's right.
So
That's right.
that deadline of the 5th is simply, you know, calling whoever it was on the website. I think there was a number,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
just getting the street okayed.
Okay.
You know, so I think that's just a phone call.
Okay.
And you know, I can help with that too if you'd like me to. I don't know the exact address here of the street, but I think that's a pretty easy part of it. And then the application is due on the 12th. So if you need help with that or proofreading or suggestions, you know, I'm willing to help with that too.
Okay. Okay. Well, I can definitely share with you all. I have the number here, the 286 number for the city. Um, um, yeah, it doesn't say any particular person, but just the DPW number, so I can call and get us verified. I think it'll be really cool, you know, and another way to, you know, highlight you know, the system and the sustainable city that Jim just mentioned. Yeah. Let's see if we can get it approved. I'll
Okay.
make a call tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Uh, And then Jim, we were talking about. I'm sorry, not Jim. Andrew, we just discussed. You know, with the water pod, we have two plumbing companies, Diamond Plumber and Your Service Company, who is willing to sign a partnership with us for you know, installing water purification systems. You know, I told them that, you know, I'm definitely, you know, I was interested in the apprenticeship, you know, and I mean, it just seems really cool, you know, what these guys are willing to do to serve and just be a part of the mission itself. Um, so, you know, hopefully we can start getting more young people trained and kind of on that path to becoming a plumber. You're an electrician, Andrew, or a plumber?
I'm working with an electrician. I mean, I was a water operator. It's a funny thing. Like I worked at a water plant for 8 years. They would not allow me to take the plumber's license, though. Obviously, it's not exactly the same thing, but no, I considered the plumbing route and decided against it. Decided to go with the electrician.
Okay. Okay. No worries. No worries. I mean, it's great. I mean, I think that just the amount of young people that we're considering having this summer and, you know, getting them engaged with these different trades that, you know, align our efforts is going to be important. The name of your, the company, the electrician company that you work for, Andrew?
JD Electric.
Oh, JD. Okay.
They're out in Heartland.
Yeah. They've been around for a while, though.
I don't know the history, honestly. It's a it's a family company,
Okay.
you know, so it would have been the owner's father, I think, that owned it.
Okay. Okay. No worries. All right. Now, yeah, the name just sounds really familiar. Um, okay, so we discussed that. I think those are good. We'll apply for those grants, get that out. Andrew, we have been having some good strides with Vincent High School, those partners, Groundworks that you're familiar with.
Oh, good.
Victory Gardens is you know, assisting us with just kind of aligning our efforts with what they've done for the Blitz. So they've been sending out some emails so we can put you on those correspondence just so you can be caught up to speed, you know, and what's happening there.
Oh yeah, please do. You're going to be a part of the Blitz with the domes?
So the thought was to replace the Blitz with a domes blitz. Just we initially said, okay, let's do 100 domes, and we can do it in the same fashion as the blitz. So reaching out to Victory Gardens as well as the relationships that um, Teamsboro Greens already had with Victory Gardens, they connected us with their existing executive director, and she's been lining us with the partners that work directly with um, their blitz program. So yeah, we're not looking to take away from it. I that's why I didn't use the name Blitz when I did it. But if they can help us and run with it, I think it'd be really cool. But they have a model that works, Victory Gardens, and
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be really cool just to follow suit.
Okay.
Well, I would think because I've been looking at Guinness World Records lately. Over the winter, I thought, like, what would it take to build like the world's biggest dome ginger house or Christmas decoration, or whatever. So I got to looking at Guinness World Records in the Milwaukee area. There aren't a lot of them. I'm kind of surprised. Like, I bet you the Blitz could do like the world's largest, raised bed build all at once. I don't know if that's something they're interested in, but that is something that I looked into. For example, like having an event which is and the Guinness loves this, where somebody's, a large number of people are all doing something all at once, right? So whether it's baking a cake at once or whatever it is, and having a program of building domes all at once, that would be a world record. If, they accepted it, you basically apply, and if they accept the idea, do it, and then they verify it. So,
I think just from a marketing and publicity standpoint, it sounds great. To really build awareness. We're doing a Guinness Book of Records dome. I am curious. Are you talking about one dome? Because then we'll be competing with the Botanical Gardens on the 27th Street. That's quite, or just the Blitz itself, and see how many domes we can put out there.
no, yeah, it would be a standard size dome, and a lot of them, not the biggest. I actually asked them what it would take to have the biggest dome record, and it's something like 100 stories.
Oh wow!
So yeah, because there have been some pretty big domes built, and specifically geodesic domes.
Yeah.
So no, but it would be, so it would be within a certain time frame. I'm guessing, since it takes about an hour to build the domes once everything's cut and all in one place. I don't know if it would be, I don't know how much time they would give us, but it wouldn't matter if it's 100 domes at once or 500 domes at once or 1,000. It's because there is currently not a record.
Okay.
So it could be one of those, it could be like a recurring annual thing where we continually try to beat our world record. To start with, though, I'm sure they would want some big number, so like 100 or 500 all at once.
Okay. No, I mean that sounds great. It sounds like I see Monica smiling over there. She likes records, So, I mean, it sounds really cool, and I really I believe there can be a lot of buzz behind it.
Well, here's the other thing that so first of all, I'm not sure if this would work during the Blitz because there's a 6-week waiting period for the application. And the only way to get that down is by spending a couple $100 for them to expedite the process. But it is possible. I'm going to look into expediting the process because there's a local company called Hellerman Titan, and they manufacture zip ties and other kind of cable security. They actually did a world record back in 2019. So they had it was their 50th anniversary, and they did the world's longest zip tie chain. So this is something they've already done, and I want to reach out to them and see if whoever was in charge of that is still around, and perhaps they would be willing to kind of spearhead the world record effort, maybe donate zip ties, and maybe pay to have the application expedited, so that we could do it for spring. It's something go ahead.
So Andrew, if you do talk to them about what size zip ties they have, because we'd like to use these heavy duty ones. They're about a 1/4 inch wide and about 8 inches long.
Sure. No, absolutely. And they do manufacture the more heavy duty type. They
Yeah,
manufacture metal ties and everything.
yeah. Because if
Um,
we do that, this thing will last for many years.
mhm. Yes, I will keep you up. I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to do it on LinkedIn or try to give them a call, but I'll keep you up to date on how that
Okay.
goes.
No, that's really cool, Andrew. If we can, create a partnership with them, I mean that goes along with what we discussed earlier. You know, once we have this itemized list of what's needed to take a dome from production to actually producing some produce. When people just say, okay, we'll donate the zip ties, we'll donate the PVC or
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
that
Because that's the question. Okay, so you build 100 domes and you get the world record. Well, what are you going to do with the domes afterwards?
that's right. That's right.
So all of a sudden you got a big infrastructure there that for
Well,
the department.
you can rebuild it. You can build, or you can grow vegetables the next year, or you can move it some other place. Who else might want to try it?
Mm-hmm.
I think
I
Yep.
mean,
that is the point. The story is what's you said it earlier, Jim. Is this the sustainable portion? You
yeah.
know, it's sustainable. Continue to build vegetables there, and people just get used to the habit or the corner stores, are purchasing the vegetables. Where it's ongoing. I think it's important. Yeah, that's a great story. I think that's a great story, man. A lot of people can bite onto it. So you have that effort, or you needing support there, Andrew, or you're going to reach out to the Hellerman as well as the Guinness Book of World Records.
I'm going to reach out to Hellerman. In fact, there's one gentleman I used to work with him at Brady Corporation, and I believe he moved over there because it's right next door. So I'm going to reach out to him tonight, see if I can get a response from him quick. But no, I mean, for now it's just a matter of getting interest, and then while I'm doing that, I'm also going to be filling out the application for Guinness regardless, just to get it in the pipeline. Because if they're not interested, you still got that 6 week waiting period. So I'm going to do that as soon as possible.
Okay, okay, that'll be really good. That'll be really good. Well, those are. Let me make sure here. Those are some really good updates. Um, I'll touch base with Dorothea. I know there was another farmers organization she wanted to share over with us, and then as I said before, you all came on. There is a list of laboratories that I'm going to share out with you all for testing the water samples. Andrew, we just did changed all the filters on the existing pods that we have out in the market here in Milwaukee. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're going to, retest the water, even though our plan is to do all of this with the universities. Jim made a good point. It makes sense to, get them done by a independent lab as well, just so we can show the results and show the numbers, of how the systems are working in the market. We do.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't know, we have one in Bayview right now. And actually, Andrew, if you could forward me over, because I don't believe I have their email anymore. The contact when we did the Bayview Bash,
Uh-huh.
because we would like to, start promoting um, uh, the how the system is working in Bayview. The owner said that we can do surveys, small surveys, 5 questions to at all of their tables, where the customer can say the big thing that the owner and the chef has said that people are, just over the top of how well the water tastes, how the soda tastes so much different, the coffee, they're making all, they're complimenting, how well the system has served the restaurant and all of their beverages.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
yeah, we want to be able just to do some because their business is doing well. They're going to open the second location even during the pandemic. we want to do these small surveys. So if you can connect me back with the debut bash individual, I would love to, just kind of, push the the success that we're having in that area with the water.
Sure. Yeah. I'll look at my email tonight. I'll forward you the info.
Okay, thank you, sir. I believe that's unless you all had something else. It seems like we all have some things to share. Jim, I did reach back out. I think you and Monica saw it to Don. Andrew, has Andrew done an interview with us, Monica?
I do not believe so.
Andrew, can we get you on an interview?
Yeah, I'm willing to do that.
Okay, let's schedule a Zoom interview, Monica, if you don't mind reaching out to Andrew, and we can get him locked in for an interview. Sometimes it's the three of us. Sometimes Andrew is just the two of us. The only issues is just exporting the video from cell phone to computer and then back to computer and cell phone again. But yeah, if you would be open to do that, we'll love to have you. Jim did one, went really well. We have a good number of them. We want to continue to push them out.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know what time.
Okay. Have you been talking to, I see you've been talking to Don Reinbold and Mike O'Neill?
Correct. So I sent the follow to both of those individuals requesting time. I did ask Don if he would be open to meeting as early as tomorrow or Friday. I know Florida. So hopefully I hear back from him. The other individual, I don't think I heard back from him. Give me his name again. Mike. It was Mike.
Mike O'Neill. Yeah, he asked you to contact him starting now because they were in transit going from St. Louis to Florida.
Okay.
And you should have his number. If not, I could give it to you.
Okay. I am just searching here to make sure. I don't see his follow-up request. If you could forward me his contact, I can give him a call.
Sure, I'll do that. I'll send you the.
Okay. Yeah, I'll call him now once we get off the call, and then hopefully I hear back. Sometime this evening.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, if anything else, Jim, you and I chatting tomorrow. Monica set up with Andrew here, and I'll do the follow-up. We all kind of got to do to follow up to continue the ball rolling. So I appreciate all your time.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
In the morning.
Adios.
There we go.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.